So good afternoon, dear professors and students. Welcome to our program. Today is a great day. It's the Department of English Language and Literature because final course students are about to start defending their qualification papers. So we wish good luck for all graduates. So now let me introduce the members of the Selection Commission. So today, Doçent Doctor of Philosophy Abdullah Tony Farfara members from Local State Pedagogical Institute, Doctor of Philosophy Aziba Bibisani Manazaruna, and Doctor of Philosophy Kojanyaza Umida Kumana Bebuna, Senior Teacher of English Language and Literature Department at Ashwa Fizuta Department. So our first graduate from Group 4-9, Bakhtiar Banabek. So, the same of his qualification paper, the role of information structures in the ellipsis, and his scientific advisor is Doctor of Philosophy Utesh Vazarin Mclarna. Arabic, you may start. Yes.
Well, good afternoon, dear professors and teachers. Welcome to today's video of defense of the group 409. Before saying anything specific on my topic, let me introduce myself. My full name is Bakhtiar Balabek Privilege from 409, as I said just now. Today, I'm going to talk orally about my bachelor's work that was written on the topic of the role of information structure in ellipses. Okay, I think it's time to have a quick look at how the content of my bachelor work is. Okay, there are two chapters in my bachelor's work, including introduction at the end and conclusion bibliography at the end as well. And there are three subtopics for each of my chapters. Okay, what is ellipsis itself? Ellipsis is an omission of a word or part of the sentence in order not to repeat yourself. It's commonly used in our society, but not all people notice that it's ellipsis. For example, let's have a look at some of the examples of ellipsis. For example, all of the group mates went to the party yesterday, but Mahuba didn't. In this case, instead of repeating, all of the group mates went to the party, but didn't go to the party. Instead of saying so, we can say Mahuba didn't. It's evident from this part of the sentence that Mahuba didn't attend to the party. For example, I bought all the toiletries from the bazaar, but not brushes. It means I purchased all I need from the bazaar, but I didn't buy brushes. Yes. And let me say some of the advantages and disadvantages of using ellipsis. One of the most obvious merits of the use of ellipsis is that it makes our speech, if we speak, or our piece of writing, if we write, much more colorful. And further upside of the use of ellipsis is that it allows us not to debate ourselves, as I said before. As ellipsis has two sides, there are also some demerits for the use of ellipsis. For example, we cannot use ellipsis when we are talking to beginner or elementary level of learners, because as you already know, they have a limited knowledge of English. That's why the use of ellipsis may lead to a sense of confusion between the speaker and listener. That's why we have to avoid using ellipses when we're talking to such kind of people. But it's okay to use above intermediate level learners. For example, intermediate, advanced proficiency, because they have already have a complete grasp of ellipses. Uh, okay. When I had to choose the topic for my bachelor's work, I had a lot on the list of topics, and there were a lot of topics. For example, techniques for listening, speaking, reading, and writing. They weren't interesting for me because I was already familiar with all the topics. That's why this on the second song I chose this topic, ellipsis, because that was something not familiar to me, unknown to me before. And after learning this topic, I have understood that it was great significance to use this kind of grammar structure both in our writing and speaking. Uh, for example, before I had an IELTS exam, I wasn't familiarized with this topic. But after being familiarized with this topic, I had an IELTS exam again, and I tried to use this grammar structure in my writing and speaking. And the results were amazing because I scored 6.5 and 7 respectively from my writing and speaking, but the next time it rising by one score. It was 7 in my writing and 0.5 in my speaking. And as a teacher, I will say this keeping respect for you. I also teach in the language school, and I try to teach this grammar structure to my apprentices, and they scored also high scores in their exams. Okay, let's have a look some of the examples of ellipses. You can use ellipses with a wide variety of components of the language. For example, okay, let's start from adverbs. The team played magnificently and careful that sometimes. In this case, the team played magnificently. It's a full sentence, but often at sometimes it's a half of the sentence. But from the adverb, we can get the full meaning of the sentence. Okay, let's take examples with modal verbs. For example, the whole of the group managed to pass their exams with flying colors. What would that be? What would that be? In this case, it's unnecessary to repeat the same sentence. That makes our speech boring. Instead of that, you can take an advantage of ellipses, like I said just before. Uh-huh. Okay. Before this my work, ellipses were presented in a line with pauses because it's very similar to the use of clauses in sentences. For example, because both the after ellipses and pauses, we have to write triple dot after the sentence. Uh, but in that case, people made a lot of mistakes when it comes to the use of pauses and ellipses. That's why using and learning and making the learners to use this grammar structure separately from the pauses is an effective way I thought to do. Yes.
You have just mentioned about the basic ellipsis is very challenging or difficult topic for lower level learners, but and in the same way you have said that you how did you teach these topics for the your secondary school levels? as a secondary school.
Students,
You have mentioned that you have taught this ellipsis at the secondary school.
not at secondary school, at a language school.
Language.
Yes, I helped people to get prepared
What
to,
about your level of learner's level?
uh-huh, especially intermediate and upper intermediate, because I helped learners to get certificate, not level and set others.
The secondary.
Okay, I'm going to thank you for your presentation. I really like your presentation because it proves that something, when I hear that when students say that something helps them to improve their some kind of skills, for example, you mentioned about writing and speaking, yeah. And I would like to hear that Alexis, this your research work helps you to improve your skill on one point. Yeah,
Yes.
it's very amazing. I congratulate you. And I want to hear this kind of emphasis from all of the students when their research work helps them to do something, to do their best. Okay, I have just one question to you. What was your tasks? What was your tasks of your research work? What did you wanted to learn or to know about Alexis?
Okay, as I just highlighted before, it was interesting. It sounded interesting at the beginning when I was choosing this topic, but in the process of learning in detail this topic, I saw that it was very significant because of the reasons that I said about in my speech. But the reason was I didn't have any information on this topic before doing anything.
But your interest is not task. But at the beginning of any research, you need to do any kind of task, at least 3 or 4. What will you investigate? What will you just should investigate or make any research on this topic? Yeah. What was your task?
Uh-huh. Okay, I aimed to present ellipses separately from the poses, as I said before, because most of the scholars use ellipses and pose very similarly in very similar structures, and sometimes, not sometimes, in most of the cases, it leads to a misunderstanding between the writer and learner.
Okay, so first task is to show the differences between ellipses and the second device is which one?
Poses.
Poses. Okay, just one task. The second one.
It was the primary one. And then the next one is to teach these ellipses according to levels. Because as I said, it wasn't appropriate for all levels of the
Okay, you wanted to identify the levels of the learners who you want to touch this device.
Yes.
Okay.
What kind of methods do you use while doing your investigation?
Methods. Okay, thank you for your question. The first thing I did as soon as I chose this topic was consulting with former students. I mean the students who wrote bachelor's work at the previous year, because they have already known how to write such kind of bachelor work. Then I also consulted to several teachers from our faculty, because it's useless to consult with students as they have no complete understanding of this topic. And then I also use internet sources. I think it's impossible to write anything with internet sources today.
But besides consulting with others, you have written here that you use the theoretical analysis of literature, observation, description, and comparative methods.
Yes, theoretical observations that, like I said before, I consulted with former students here who graduated in university last year, and I tried to learn their work.
Thank you.
So our next graduate, Shirpa Nas. The same of your dissertation paper is efficient information technologies, teaching foreign languages, and your scientific advisor is doctor of philosophy, Bogaslav Balmabatev. Hadi oğlum.
Good afternoon, dear students. Today, my name is Shafara Kulas, and my research work is on teaching information technologies in teaching foreign language and teaching foreign language. In my work consists of introduction, main body, including story chapters and conclusion. Okay, my work topical importance is the article examines the role of modern technology and information technologies and as necessary components of teaching a foreign language at a university or schools. And the object my research work is the research of teaching learning process and aims of research. The English of my research work is to discover and analyze the place and role of innovative learning technologies and methods in order to improve the quality and interests of educational process. And Marx members include three chapters, and the first chapter attempted to describe communicative technologies in English teaching and learning. Learning presents information about up-to-date requirements and innovative with their concepts. And the second chapter describes information about the way of implementation of innovative technology, and moreover to answer the questions when and how to implement modern technology in foreign language. And the third chapter describes information about digital technology in teaching foreign language and formation of grammatical competence. And conclusion summarizes our information of such research.
Okay, yes, this presentation is a very interesting one. Nowadays, the actual topic how to teach students with innovative technologies. In your research, what kind of innovative technologies or techniques or methods do you use?
Nowadays has a lot of technologies and methods learning foreign language, and especially I think easy method. Learn foreign language wisely.
Word topic is too general, it is specified something. For example, in your research work, ventures is not a general, it shouldn't be general, it should be specified. For example, in your research work, you need to show some concrete techniques, word methods, which one do you use, because the numbers, majority of innovative methods we know, yeah, in our in the science academic, we can't look through all of them. You can just you can just investigate several of them. Which ones did you just choose in your research work? This is the first topic. The second one, did you just look through just one feature of English? For example, give me an example or to be precise, did you choose one skill or is it just, what do you, what I want to say is what do you want to teach? For example, in teaching, you said in teaching English, what you want to teach in English, for example, any kind of skill or grammar, vocabulary, lexics, or something else.
I think numbers,
The second one,
the second one, on seeing in the future, English.
I see, you see, you completed your work. Okay, who are your auditory learners?
We ask back of two questions. Very simple. What is ICT in your work? And what are benefits of it in education, in language learning?
ICT.
ICT is information, communicative, technology benefits for skills, informational,
Okay, good math, good math. You have analyzed Duolingo plus 49 chapters here. What about the result of your analysis? Duolingo plus 4 and the specific digital technology. You have analyzed this chapter. About the result of your analysis. After analyzing.
So our next graduate, John Liza, and the theme of your dissertation paper, the issue of neologisms in modern English and their translation, and your scientific advisor is Doctor of Philosophy Kaspano Zhigomov.
Good morning, everyone. My full name is John Liza, and my bachelor qualification is on topic, the issue of neologism. The issue of neologism in modern English and their translation. The structure research consists of introduction, two chapters, conclusion, and the list of used literature. Well, in the introduction part, we set such points as relevance of topic, object, subject, the main goal, and novelty, and also the research methods which we use it in our study, and the practical value of our research. Well, actuality and the relevance of the topic, the acquisition of English has become a necessity in life and is considered indispensable skill in today's society. following the signing of Presidential Decree number 1875, educators involved the foreign language in schools and universities were mandated the educational system and professional development agencies. During a conference led by President Shavkat Mirziyoyev on May 2021, discussion centered around the missions to strengthen the foreign language educational system and identify key priorities. Well, the object of study is based on the English neologism in modern vocabulary, and the subjects of study are neologism in modern English language and their translation. Well, the novelty of the work is determined by the tests, orientation of research on disclosure of scientific potential methodological reasons, the search and processing of information, and taking into account not only linguistic but also cultural factors that form the content of neological fields in English, and as well as the problems of translation of English neologisms. Well, the aim and the purpose of qualification work is theoretical and practical classification of issue of neologism in modern English and their translation. To achieve this, there is a set of tests. First, to define the concept and the term neologism. Second, to consider the definition of neologism. Third, to study the characteristic of neologism translation. And last one, to analyze the characteristic of modern and vocabulary translation. Well, in our bachelor qualification work, following methods were used descriptive analysis of dictionary, modeling method, and word formation analysis. The first chapter attempts to describe the theoretical significance of neologism and the definition of concept and term neologism in English language, and also the methodology of forming neologism and ethnic and culture specificity of learning and new vocabulary of English language. Well, neologism are the words which neologism are the words which are created to explain new words. All large number of new lexical units in connection with development of computer technology, aviation, press, and the art movements, and last one, films, television, and videos, and there are some examples. Well, the second chapter is dedicated to the concept of translation features of neologism in modern vocabulary and means of translation of modern neologisms and the translating difficulties of neologism in modern vocabulary, and last one, translation features of neologism in modern text. Based on the definition of term neologism, it can be assumed that the translator for the first time meeting the neologism, of course, has no idea about the concept indicated by them. Therefore, the value of a neologism has to figure most often out of context. In the translation of context is usually quite informative. Well, neologisms are new words which appear in language as a result of various changes in society, science, art, and also the culture. Well, it is distinguished between the two kinds of neologism, new words and new meanings that emerged from old words. Well, both of spices are difficult to translate because these words and meanings cannot found in ordinary English Uzbek dictionaries, and also in new English dictionary. To make sure the difficulties of translation of neologism, we consider some examples. For example, I can dig it. Do you dig this song? Well, this cannot be translated on the basic or common meanings of verb to dig, And just open the dictionary American heritage, you can find some following meanings following meanings of strategic. For example, to comprehend, to appreciate, to enjoy. That is translated into Russian, понимать, оценивать, and нравится. Into Uzbek, англамок, кадырламок, раханламок. The translation of above proposals will therefore is this: I love it, and do you like this song? In conclusion, the main results of study are presented in the list of references, points, works of domestic and foreign language, foreign sciences who have been studied in global for citations and references in the processing of writing these papers. And that's all my presentation. Thank you.
Well, what is a common method of forming neologisms in the language?
Descriptive for the analysis formation. Yes.
What is a common method of forming neologisms in the language? How do they appear in the language?
Well, for this qualification work, I used such kind of methods, and I didn't explain one by one.
No. It's borrowing the words from other languages. Borrowing the words from other languages. And what do you think? How many words are, how many new words are adapted into the English language each year?
In my opinion, that the neologisms are the words that not part of our official language system, and that
How many new words?
I don't know.
Okay. You haven't got any ideas. Well, it's nearly 1 million words. Yes. 1 million words come into English each year.
Okay, thank you. Just I have one question according to your topic. Your topic is about issue of neologisms, yeah? And during your presentation, you mentioned some of them that students face during the learning process. But what kind of solution, what kind of results or new ways for solving these problems can you suggest?
I believe that neologism worksheet is the best way to learn the neologisms for students, and such kind of activities, for example, the comic worksheets is very useful for the learning of neologism.
Please.
So next we'll be chronology Diana, and the same of your presentation paper. Abbreviation is a major way of shortening, and the scientific advisor has found out.
This mathematics chronology, my research works in observation as a major way of shortening. So the actuality of this work crossed by several important points. We tend to say that the shortening of the word in by developing modern informational technologies and NH speech. Having based upon the actuality of observing, we are able to formulate the general goals of all qualification work. The qualification paper consists of introduction, and 2 chapters conclusion, and the list of user literature. The first chapter is about shortening of words and meaning based on word forming. We about shortening of spoken words and graphical observation. In the second chapter, we got formation as the source for shortening of words and of advance of observation in modern English.
One example of graphical abbreviations and acronyms. What kind of graphical abbreviations can we search in Google? What is the difference between abbreviation and shortening words?
So next graduate, Karim was Suraya, same of the dissertation paper is develop speaking skills through teaching with vocabulary and the science with body is docent, doctor of philosophy and production in Kazakhstan.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let's introduce myself. My name is Karim Rasoyo. My qualification is about develop speaking skills through teaching vocabulary. And there is a saying that about vocabulary. And Dr. Ibrahim mentioned that our vocabulary is one of those things where studies and literature. And next is the result of significant of Islam. One measure, two further, improve system of the language teaching is being implemented in Uzbekistan. This is a law for opportunity for development of new opportunities in teaching foreign language and the production of highly developed teaching methods using modern and information technology. And in addition to education of a new generation through foreign language. And the aim of this qualification investigation is to define the role of vocabulary developing in speaking skills, and according to the general aim, the following practical tasks are put forward, and there are to define the most vocabulary and vocabularies, to study difficulties teaching and learning vocabulary, and to investigate types of vocabulary. Last one is to become familiar with various task-based teaching activities. And definition and usage of vocabulary. Vocabulary is commonly defined as all the words known and used by a particular person. And how do you do new words? The first one is by memorizing individual words, and next one is by using them on a context and through definition, and last one is in correlation range. And that's the end of my
is Raya. Miss Raya, thank you for your presentation. And I have our question, what types of vocabulary do you analyze? Or what type of vocabulary do you choose for improving speaking skills? Are there any specific vocabulary? Types of vocabulary. Types, levels, and what kind of vocabulary do you analyze? How did you choose the vocabulary for improving speaking? What is the major role of vocabulary?
Especially during the classes, I'm using different vocabularies and first of all, there are B1 and B2 level and C1 level.
Also, you focus on advanced vocabulary.
So our next period of Mahbuba and the same of the dissertation paper, teaching English by means of speaking clarity. And your scientific advisor, Doctor of Philosophy, Doctor Abdullah Mubarak.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ahmed Mahbuba. The theme of our publication work comes as following: teaching English by means of speaking clarity. This paper analyzes the evolution problems of modern information situation. The information exposed. The object of the study, the origins of developing speaking skills in the process of teaching English to younger learners at any level. The subject of the publication phase is the process of developing speaking skills carried out in the community or the learning environment. The psychology phase of this work is the process of knowledge or research on the problem of advanced features of the foreign language, and it gives a clear understanding of theoretical analysis and the activities to develop speaking skills during the cultural practice in the era present. The practical dialogue of the work to externalize teachers is a method of developing the speech communication solutions as a means of teaching theory. The practical part of the study shows the application of teaching speaking through speech simulations as a means that are contributed to the formation of the system of moral values. The first chapter is academically describes the stories of life of the problem and addresses the solutions of linguistic features of the general and special problems of teaching speaking skills. The second chapter is to deal with the analysis and principles of speaking at the time of speech activity will be available more than of teaching speaking at school to analyze it. In conclusion, the presentation describes the results of the study and is followed by the careful analysis of relevant literature in the course of the discussion as well as problems and concepts that is contained in the communication with evaluation.
Thank you for your very interesting presentation. That I want to clarify something from your topic. What features of English do you want to teach by means of speaking peculiarities? Okay. What feature in your research topic is called teaching English by means of speaking peculiarities? Yeah. But what features of English do you want to teach by means of speaking peculiarities? What do you understand? What do you mean here, teaching English?
our next graduate, Nurwara Labar, the same of your dissertation paper, word formation system of the English language by means of abbreviation, and your scientific advisor, Doctor of Philosophy, Docent Abdullah Bin Farfara.
Today, my topic is the word formation system of signal and by means of abbreviation. Abbreviations are linguistic devices used to condense words and phrases. In the shorter forms often consisting of usual or language forms. Abbreviation is a shortened form of word or phrases, and it's a result of individual letters. For example, in two cases, what means freedom? And another, when a form of various abbreviation of words and phrases can be divided into three types. And firstly, appendices. Appendices, truncating of the beginning of the word. For example, history, and the tense, and complete. And second, syncopation. Syncopation, truncation of the middle of the word. For example, market and mana. And the last one, apostrophe, truncation of the end of the word. For example, one fire, one, and and another. In addition to abbreviation, the usual type of compound words, and it's made up of usual letters, has become widespread and in the English language. And why do we use abbreviations? Firstly, it is a good time, a good way to save time, and the tempo of life is increasing, and another in work, travel, business, and communication, as well as in other areas of our life. And in addition, types of abbreviations in Russian and English are similar in both languages. The usual abbreviations is most common, and the Russian language there are a type of compound words consisting of truncated first word and the second indirect. For example, head of the department. And in English, this type of abbreviation doesn't exist due to absence and of the most indirect case of the noun. In conclusion, the word formation system of the English language, the use of abbreviations plays a significant role facilitating efficient communication and conveying information in a concise manner. And overall, the word formation system of the English language by means of abbreviation contributes to effective communication.
How many types of abbreviations is there? Types of abbreviations.
Three types of abbreviations. First, accuracies, second, segregation, third, appropriate.
And in both language, in Russian and also in English, these two types of abbreviations. Why Russian? Are they similar, or do they have any differences? Russian abbreviations and English. Thank you.
So our next graduate, Kamarata Indiran, the same of your dissertation paper, journalism, text, translation problems in the phraseology discourse, and and your scientific advisor, Doctor of Philosophy, Docent Abdullah Mustafa.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is about journalistic translation. Journalistic translation is refers to the translation of content written by the journalists for the media, including for the written press, digital media and audiovisual media, regional or national unit press and weekly newspapers, magazines, social magazines, television and radio. Here are some examples of materials that can be translated for the journalistic purposes. Print media, articles, web articles, interviews, and others. TV, sports, documentaries, radio, and journalistic translation in journalistic translation differs from technique and technical and literary translation. In several ways, it presents a number of specific challenges for the translator, respect for editorial constraints. The first challenge for the translator journalist is translated the text while respecting the editorial constraints of the media, as well as remaining peaceful to the style of the authors. The final content must be in line with the tone of the newspapers. Journalistic translators must also take into account the target audience. They will have to use specialized vocabulary if they are addressing target audience.
So questions, please.
What kind of problems are there in pedagogical discourse?
Pedagogical units play a role in language comprehension and communication, embodying the linguistic and cultural experience of the speech community. Problems. Journalistic translation differs from other technical and literary translation. Problems.
What is pedagogical discourse? How did you identify it in your research work?
This review article aims to provide a comprehensive overview of the technology and main functions of pedagogical units, shedding light on their importance in language.
So our last graduation with Martin Ruba, the same also qualification paper, definition, terminology, and characteristics of conversion, and your scientific advisor is Doctor of Philosophy Julian Zolmida.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Martin. My topic is about actuality and the relevance of the theme. According to the document titled the concept of the development of the national education system of Uzbekistan under 2030. There is a recognition of the importance of teaching and learning foreign languages in educational institutions.
the same of our qualification work sums as follows: definition, terminology, and characteristics of conversion. This paper aims to study theoretical importance of studying terminology and characteristics of conversion. English is a very productive language due to its versatile nature. It can undergo many different word creation processes to create new words. This is the case of the method of word creation, typing, blending, and conversion. As they are recent phenomena, there have not been much studying. Even scholars differ in their opinions about the ways they should be treated very easily. One point they all agree with: these new methods are becoming more frequently used. For example, conversion will be more active in the future, and so it will create a great part of the new words. The relevance of this research is that in teaching a foreign language, understanding the terminology and characteristics of conversion in the English and Tagalog languages. As in this research work with research work, we try to give a comprehensive vision on conversion. We will attempt to establish the direction of the process. The object of the study
What is the connection between terminology and conversion?
the object of the study derivative connections in the process of conversion by means of verbs, nouns, adjectives, and verbs.
What kind of literature did you use while searching the information? What reference did you use while searching the information?